Hello and welcome to another maths video. I hope you're well, I hope you're fine, I hope you are just hanging out. Factorising by grouping in pairs. So this is Year 9 5.3, it should be a revision. It is a bit of a technique that I think gets a little bit lost in the rush of Year 9, so worth paying attention to. You'll need to use the technique for the next few lessons. So in the content coming up, this is what you will be using. So I do recommend getting familiar with it. And it does tie into the last video on the common factor. So I'm going to get into some examples and I'll just talk about it as I go. Let's see how we go. So example 1 today, example A. We're going to factorise x squared plus 3x minus 2x minus 6. And you're probably looking at me saying, well, what on earth, why don't you just gather these like terms here and then factorise away? And we're not going to do that. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to group in pairs. So we're going to get two pairs. The reason being, if I do look at this, x squared plus 3x minus 2x minus 6, there's nothing in common in the whole lot. So I can't pull anything out the front, there's no common factor to work with. So grouping in pairs will help me factorise, even though I technically can't do that. And this plays back into the expanding that we did a little bit earlier on in the unit. So what I'm going to do, group it in pairs. We've got two pairs, my first pair here, my second pair here. I'm going to factorise my first pair first. So first pair first, common factor there is x, so it becomes x, so x plus 3. And then looking at my second pair, this pair here, I've got a common factor of minus 2. So minus 2 goes out the front, and it's x plus 3. Okay, you might want to check that by expanding, but the minus 2 expands to make minus 2x and to make minus 6. What you should hopefully notice now is that this here, this x plus 3, this x plus 3 are the same. So these two do need to be the same for the next step, and this is what we basically covered in the last video, how to factorise something like this. So working on this, the common factor here is x plus 3, so x plus 3 goes out the front. Okay, we need to multiply that by x to get this first part here. We need to multiply by minus 2 to get this last part here. So in terms of answers, that's my answer there, x plus 3, x minus 2 in brackets. And you can expand that to check. Okay. How do you know when to use this method? Like, what on earth is going on? You're looking for when there is no common factor. So no common factor, especially if there's 4 terms, is a dead giveaway. Group them in pairs. So two pairs, one pair, second pair, and then just factorising away. Of course, if they tell you use a method of grouping in pairs, well, that I think is pretty obvious. You'd need to use grouping in pairs for that. Taking example B. Example B, we will go and factorise x squared minus ax plus bx minus ab. Okay, so again, looking at my 4 terms here, x squared, ax, bx, ab, there is no common factor. So yes, 2 of them contain b's, 2 of them contain a's, 3 of them contain x's, but nothing contains everything. Okay, and there's 4 terms. So 4 terms, nothing in common, grouping in pairs. So grouping in pairs, split it down the middle. My first pair here, x squared and ax. So in common here I have an x, so I get x minus a. And for my second pair out the back here, the common factor is the b, and then I've got x minus a in brackets there. Okay, so you will notice x minus a featuring there again. So to factorise these, the common factor you want at the front is x minus a. And to get the first part here, you need an x. And the last part here, you need a b. Okay, so again, feel free to expand to check if you don't like what I'm doing here. Always looking for common factors. The common factor here is the b, common factor here, the x, and then down the line, the common factor is x minus a. X minus a. That's why x minus a is at the front. Awesome. Moving on to an example C. So example C, I'm going to take let's go 2x squared minus 4x plus x minus 2. So again, nothing in common. The 2 is interesting, the x is interesting, but again, it's not overall 4 terms. And there's 4 terms, so 4 terms, grouping in pairs. Factorising the first half. I can pull a 2x out of the first half. So 2x is going to go up front, then I need x minus 2, and that should get me 2x by x is 2x squared, 2x by 2 is 4, so 4x. And then my second part out the back here, just factorising that. There's nothing in common here, so I'm just going to call it a 1 and then write in x minus 2. Okay, the reason I'm making it 1 is I am kind of fudging it a little bit, so I get x minus 2 here and x minus 2 here. So whatever this first bracket comes out as being, the second bracket should come out as well. Okay, because I can factorise that and bring that x minus 2 out the front. Okay, my leftovers then, what I need to multiply to get this expression here, I need a 2x and I need a 1. And that's my answer. Okay, so always checking 4 terms, grouping in pairs is a pretty good method. We will skip through a little bit in next few lessons, but for now, that's what we're doing. And it does come up, just watch out for it. It's a little bit sneaky. We get it in there on the sly in your exams a little bit. YA minus YB. Okay, so for our last example here, obviously nothing in common. You can rearrange the terms if you would like. So you'll notice this is actually already in a pretty nice order. So if I do split this in here, there's a common factor of x up front, a common factor of y out the back here. That might not always come like that, so you might need to switch the order of the terms around just so you do get some a's together or some x's together, so when you go to group in pairs, it looks pretty good. Anyway, like I said, don't need to do this in this example. My first pair here, common factor is x, and then it's going to be a minus b. And for my second pair here, it's going to be y outside of a minus b again. If these two aren't coming out the same, you can't do the next step. So you need to make sure those two are the same. If that means putting that to a minus and changing the order here, that will work as well. But make sure those are the same. So factorising this here, a minus b, x plus y. Okay, and that is my method of grouping in pairs. Have you got some examples for yourselves? I think the method's pretty nice. It's just recognizing, and I get that this step going from here to here is a little bit confusing, but if that is still giving you grief, go back and watch the last video. Thanks for watching.